It happened in Big Bear. Guy fights fire with bulldozers, okay? The federal government has the Forest Service, and they're supposed to maintain these fire lanes, and they failed to do their job. Well, he went and did it for them so some people's houses wouldn't get burned down. Meanwhile, the county up there, San Bernadino County, is trying to steal his land at the airport. Let's roll that. Thanks for watching, people. $10 an hour, roughly?
Oh, no, we were more than that. We don't pay. It was about $15,000 a week.
Payroll.
Yeah, our payroll was $15,000 a week, which was about $800,000 a year.
And where are all these men now? These 35 men that had families that used to work for you?
A lot went to Utah, Vegas. Matter of fact, most of them went to Las Vegas. A couple got jobs here with the county government or the city, and they dispersed, and there was hardships in their lives for a while until they got hired. They were very educated in our business, and they were all undereducated. Some of them had never even graduated middle schools. They had come from Mexico, not even getting out of second grade, but they were super educated in what they did. So for them to get a new job, they literally had to be retrained. Some of them did that. Most of them, they survived. But the hardship that they've put on me wasn't just me. It was the business. It was
another one.
The hardship that they made, my family and everybody else. The county turned me into a lot of agencies because they got mad.
Yeah, that's what they do.
The one example is right here, is to the right here. You can see this concrete structure. It's that right there, that concrete structure.
Yeah.
The water comes from across the street, as you can see the pipe.
Yeah.
And the water came onto my property. And the state water quality board said that I couldn't let that water go on my property, because what it was doing was going to grab all the oil from the vehicles that are parked here, in theory, and put it in the lake. So they ordered me to put in this pipe, so I put it in at the state's requirements, and the county says that
You put the pipe there?
You're sitting on it.
Oh, it's running under us.
Yes, it's this big pipe right here. It runs right underneath us, and you can see the balance of the pipe over there. See that big pipe?
Let's get a shot of it.
But you see that big pipe right there, right?
No.
Right here. This is, we had some spare pipe left over. And,
So they made you put in this to conduct the water through your property without flowing onto you.
Yeah, so the water would never flow onto my property. So we have two of these big extra, and you can see they're 72-inch pipe. Big pipe. And it goes from the highway all the way to the airport. And they ordered me to put that in. And
what did that cost you?
It was about $175,000 because
your cost or
my cost? Yeah, I did it all myself. And I had a couple friends help me lay out the concrete. But see what happened, the airport, as you can see what the airport did here, the airport had extra dirt when they did some work, and this is all wetlands. They're not allowed to fill it, but they can do what they want, right? And they dammed it off here, as you see.
Yeah.
So that dip, if you see that dip in there,
yeah,
I put that in. They let me do it. I took my tractor in there and did it, because what happened was all the water would stop at that big dam.
Yeah.
And then it would load up behind it, flood this house, and flood the fence. And then one day, their whole fence fell down. And this is their fence, okay? We can get out.
The airport's fence?
Yeah, we can get out and look if you'd like.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, that's the entrance end of the pipe. Flows under your property and comes out here. Okay, I see what you did.
And then what they did is, you can see this is a 6-foot fence. They buried it with 2 feet of dirt by spilling all this dirt in here. And what they did by doing that, they created a big trough here. So this dip wasn't here. So I had to dig it out after they did that. And what was happening, water was building up behind it. But now the water comes out, goes out there, as you see. Which, just like I said, this pipe's 72 inches in diameter. And we actually have a grate that needs to be serviced. We did that because, and you know, this is all basically on the requirements that you can't have a pipe going into an airport with anything bigger than a rabbit can get through it. Because if a coyote gets out there, it'll get on the runway. Of course. Water comes through here.
So you've tried to comply with all the bullshit.
Oh no, I've done so many things trying to comply with everything, and it doesn't make any sense anymore. Because it's not an issue of complying, it's an issue that they want us out. And they've said many times, the prosecutor for the county, that I wouldn't be in here anymore. Somebody else would be, but it wouldn't be me. And
Who said that?
Matt Marnell from the county of San Bernadino. He's told it to 3 of my attorneys that I wouldn't be on the property, but somebody else would be. They want to basically pick who
makes a living here and who owns it.
Right, exactly. So, to a lot of people, it's a mess.
Did your attorneys ever hint to them that? Did your attorneys ever hint that this might be racism?
They actually told them that a couple times, and the county council said, I grew up in East LA. I know all about race, and this is not a race war. And it is. The prosecutor himself, Matthew Marnell, that works for the county, pretty much hates my guts, and he's told me that to my face. He has been involved with me since 1994 on 17 trials on this property. He finally got a corrupt judge that would listen. My lawyer was disbarred halfway through the case. He's now serving 11 years in state prison, what's a Corcoran prison in the state of California.
Your lawyer is?
My lawyer is, yes.
Which name was?
James Vincent Reese. State bar number 128020.
And why did they put him in prison?
He, basically what he did was irreparable injury, but he stole money from clients, he forged signatures, he made agreements without clients, he falsified documents.
Don't most attorneys do that?
Well, this guy got caught hard, and the reason they put him away, it wasn't because of me, it wasn't because of the other clients that he did, because the state bar, they're a bunch of, basically what I say is that when you have the chickens guarding the chickens, nothing happens. Okay, when a fox guards the chickens, the fox eats a couple chickens, and the chickens fear the fox. But the state bar is the chickens, and they're guarding the chickens, which you can't have lawyers monitoring lawyers. It's wrong and it's illegal because they let them get away with it. In 2001, he had claims against him I didn't know about because the state bar never posted them. So
the state bar didn't
never posted a claim that people had claims against him in 2000. So when I hired him at the recommendation of a United States Federal District Court judge that I met at a party, he recommended my lawyer, James Vincent Reese, and...
Who was that judge?
I don't remember his name, but the other lawyer was with me, so I don't know who it is, but he told me that he was the best attorney. Well, he had almost 6 open cases from 2000 to before I hired him of people claiming injury, and nobody took it seriously until he stole $3.1 million from the MTA of Los Angeles. And what he did by stealing it is he made an agreement with the MTA because he represented the MTA. And these people that got hurt on their trains sued them and made settlements. And when they made the settlements, Jim Reese had the MTA put the money in his trust account.
Of course.
Instead of paying the person jointly, which is what they should have done. They should have put, you know, John Doe and James Vincent Reese Trust.
Right.
And they didn't. So they wrote James Vincent Reese checks for $3.1 million, and he never gave them to the people. That's the whole reason. When he started to rob government, then he hurt everybody else. He hurt the government. The government couldn't let that happen, so they ramped it up, got involved, found him somewhere, arrested him, put him into trial, and
took him out.
They took him out with 11 years to make an example of him.
Yeah, but this is a common lawyer practice. I have a guy in Oregon. His lawyer took 100% of his settlement, not 50%. He took 100%, and there wasn't much he could do except go to the bar, and they gave him a fraction of what the settlement was.
Right.
And I see this all over. The lawyers don't just take 50%; they take it all.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I said, you're back to the chickens guarding the chickens. You know, when chickens watch chickens, nothing happens. And that's what's happening. They're all thieves to a point. They're all liars to a point. And I have not really found but maybe 2 honest lawyers in this whole charade of fighting the county in 28 years. I mean, I have had lawyers that have said they've done something and never did. I've had lawyers that didn't show up to court and my cases got thrown out. I've had lawyers tell me that if I don't do this, they're going to put me in prison, when that never happened, because I said, fine, let them put me in prison. I've never gone to prison.
Who are the, if I can interrupt you, Mr. Acosta, who are the 2 honest lawyers you came across in all of this?
Was Bob and his brother Bill Ziprick.
Ziprick.
Z-I-P-R-I-C-K out of Redlands. But to be honest with you, they got involved too late. And they were honest with everything they've said, but not as aggressive as they needed to be to go after the judge or go after the court, because what the court did was illegal, and they did not approach it the way it should have been approached. But like I said, they came in while the boat was sinking, and they had to put their fingers in the holes and keep the water from coming in, and
it was too late.
It was almost too late, because
they came in too late in the process. Who is the judge in that?
Judge David Cohen, C-O-H-N. And he probably the worst judge I've seen in this whole charade of lawsuits, because his wife was the 2005 judge that heard the ruling on this property that led us to double jeopardy. And by law, he's not allowed to hear my case, being her husband, by law, but he did. And he didn't recluse himself. And he was supposed to by law.
Did anybody ask him to recuse? Did anybody ask him to recuse himself?
No, because my lawyer was disbarred. He was gone.
Reese was gone at that point.
Reese was gone. And he put a girl in there that didn't know anything. And I didn't know what was going on because nobody kept me abreast of the situation. Nobody told me what was happening.
How much did you spend on attorneys that didn't really do any good?
Since this started?
Yeah, $4 million.
Easily. Over $4 million. I've had over 28 attorneys. I've lost a lot of attorneys. I've only fired 3 attorneys, but I lost a lot of attorneys for several reasons. They couldn't handle it. The county told them that they would settle another case that attorney had if they walked away from my case.
Can you prove that?
I can't prove it. It's not proved. The guys just tell me what they tell me. But see, that's what I learned at this lawyer club. It's a good old boys club. It's almost like policemen taking care of policemen and firemen taking care of firemen.
Right.
Lawyers take care of lawyers, and nobody has, well, my case is so complex that nobody really wants to take it on.
Yeah, you've got a long trail of abuse by government here.
Well, that's all it all is. It's all abuse.
A long trail of abuse by government using limited powers and going beyond their limited reach to do what they want to do with you, just because someone doesn't like you because you were born where, in South Central Los Angeles?
I was born in yes, Playa del Rey.
You were born in Playa del Rey, which isn't exactly South Central.
It's like Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, you're in Los Angeles, so you're a native-born American, but someone still doesn't like you.
Well, and not only that, I have the only piece of industrial commercial land in this whole valley.
Yeah, let's get a shot of it from.
And it's on the runway at the airport. It's 6 acres. There is no other industrial commercial land in Big Bear. They don't want me here because of either waste management or I don't really know.
airport. Here's Mr. Acosta's property. We're up on a pile of recyclable. And there's waste management right there.
The big pile of concrete.
You can see a big pile of concrete sticking up in the air above the roof line. And vehicles that haven't moved in at least 5 or 6 years. Some of them are rusting right on the trailer hitch. Those cars are rusting there. And according to Mr. Acosta, they don't get any crap. Is this just some greed by somebody who's connected to the city government? That's what I want to know. Is this just greed, or is this racism and greed combined? It appears the county's in on it with the city and probably the airport district.
Yes. The airport district is going to be buying the property according to the bankruptcy court.
And I just wonder, is this the kind of America we have allowed to evolve? 35 men employed here on this really large piece of property lost their jobs, men with families. Regardless if they were of Spanish, Mexican derivation, or where their families came from, they were people who lived here and bought here, spent money here, not in Mexico, they spent it here.
Children went to go to school here.
The children went to school here. And so this isn't just affecting Mr. Acosta, this has affected a lot of people. What do you people think? Tell me what you think. Leave a comment down below. William Wagner for On Second Thought, hoping I've given you second thoughts. Looks like they got a surveillance camera here. A lot of battery power.
Been there a long time.
Isn't that interesting? The guy owns the last industrial parcel on the airport, and they're just beating the heck out of him. They wanted him to go to jail for doing the Forest Service's job. They wanted to let houses be burned down. Not his house, it was friends of his houses, because the Forest Service had failed to clear the brush. I called to talk to him a week or two ago, and Mr. Acosta reported that I guess they've dropped those charges now after he spent more money on attorneys, charges that never should have been brought. He should have been given a medal because the Forest Service didn't maintain a bulldozer up there. They had to bring it all the way up the mountain from San Bernadino, and that takes hours to get it on a trailer, to mount the trailer, and to tow it up there at 10 miles an hour. Well, the fire's burning 100 yards from these houses, and he stops the fire and saves people's homes. His reward is now they're still pushing to steal his parcel.